Hey, folks, I am back this week for episode 22 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens. I am Laura, and I am here with my best friend, Lorri.
Yo.
I am very, very happy to be back, although last episode, Margaret, your daughter, Maggie, did an absolutely fantastic job filling in for me. So, Maggie, thank you very, very much. I greatly appreciate you.
But we missed you. We missed you being there.
I missed hearing the interview. It was absolutely fantastic, and I was a little under the weather. I know you guys were a little nondescript in terms of what I had going on, but
yes. Not our place to share.
I ate gluten, and I was down and out for about 3 days, and still not feeling my best self. Still a couple days afterwards. So just stealing, but that happens when you have a food allergy.
Yeah.
So it's for reals. But we are excited today because we are going to talk about a race in the state of Washington. So we went way across the country to a little tiny town called Snoqualmie, Washington.
Yeah.
And we ran the Tunnel Light Marathon. So super excited to talk about that. And in this episode, we are going to cover down on a couple of really funny topics. One is a trough spittoon.
Yes.
The next one is talking about our pickled feet.
Yes.
And then a gum wall. So,
yes.
randos.
Ew.
Yes, right? And we greatly appreciate everybody who has been joining us. Please check us out on our socials. We actually video all of our episodes. So we're seeing a little bit more of an uptick on people who are checking us out on YouTube. So check us out. And, thanks for the feedback and keep the comments coming. We greatly appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. So, Lorri, what are we drinking for our Mile 20 beverage this evening?
Well, we know exactly what we drank for our Mile 20
we
beverage during the Tunnel Light Marathon because we have lovely pictures of us. Well, you is kind of funny trying to open the damn thing.
Oh, my God. That's so embarrassing.
So we found these tiny little bottles of La Marca.
And they're little baby La Marcas.
Little baby bottles. And we got a couple of them. And then you're like trying like hell to get the top off.
Because I said, Lorri, you got to video me. And
for
I'm
the
gonna
pop, you know?
Yeah, and I'm like, and I'm holding it, I'm ready to like do the pop, and I'm like, why won't this thing pop? It was a screw top.
Oops. Yeah, it was like
and I was like, damn it. So it did not make like the big robust. No, the funny thing was that we at the time did not have our little beverage bag.
No.
So do you remember going into a Target and we could not find a little like cheap cooler that we felt comfortable, just kind of leaving out with our beverages?
Yes.
So what did we use?
I think we used, what did we use?
We used a Tupperware, there was like a storage
it was like
Tupperware container.
Wasn't it like a shoebox?
Yeah, it was like a shoebox,
And
like
didn't
plastic container, and we put
but
aluminum foil in it so that
yeah.
way we could put the ice in it. And our beverages like totally stayed cold.
But it wasn't very warm that day either,
It was
though.
not warm that
So
day.
it wasn't like it was a rapid ice melt day either.
No. So we've done obviously, like Lorri mentions that I do Prosecco quite a bit on the runs, like because we're celebrating at Mile 20.
Yeah.
But this one, just because of the uncorking of the La Marca, we figured we go with the Prosecco tonight.
Yes. So cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
These are healthy pours, my friend.
Yeah, I got a little heavy-handed on that, so sorry.
La Marca always hits the spot.
Oh, always. Oh,
delicious.
I love La Marca. All right, so Laura, what you been up to?
Well, since last week, I left on Wednesday. My family, they rent a place on a lake in the Poconos every summer, and they've been doing it for
a long time, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, ever since I would say, what did Jima say? That was it like 50 years, 60 years they've been renting up there.
Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah. No, I'm not kidding.
So she's been doing it since she was like way younger.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so
like
this is her family tradition.
Yeah, and so like her parents actually could have bought a place back in the day, but chose not to because they wanted to travel to all these different places. But they rented there year after year after year after year. And so then when they passed, it kind of trickled down to the kids. And then it would be, she's one of four. So it would be, trying to get all the families together. And then as the families grew, then each sibling kind of had to have their own rent time.
Yeah, because that just gets to be
like we have 20 people.
Ridiculous to try to coordinate. Yeah.
My stepmom's, side of it all. We're 20 people strong.
Yeah.
So we're not sure we're going to be able to go back next year, which is kind of sad. So this year had all the feels of like kind of saying goodbye to the place because a lot of people don't rent to parties that big. It's just getting harder to find a place to rent there. So anyhow, we spent beautiful days, even though it was kind of rainy and cold up there, and spending family time together. Took a hike, sat on the dock, jumped in the lake.
Sometimes it's even nicer when you like the nice weather, but I don't know. There's something about like a nice, like cooler, rainy day when you're in an environment like that.
Yes.
Where you can just kind of sit on a deck, maybe a covered deck, or just even like with the window and the door open and stuff here in the rain. And
I would agree with that, except we have a lot of children under the age of 10.
I forgot about that.
That makes rainy days a little bit
difficult.
more challenging,
Yes.
cabin feverish, but we may do. And it was so much fun hanging out with all of my nieces and nephews. So that was good. And then, of course, Father's Day.
Yes.
So we rolled in yesterday, which is, again, we record on Monday night. So it was last night we rolled in. Dave was up there with us, which was nice. So I had my dad and Dave, and I was able to celebrate Father's Day with both of them. And then we all came home and had dinner with all of us at PJ Willihan's last night.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, not this weekend, but the prior weekend, because I missed the recording last week.
Yes, because you're 2-week epic week.
Yeah, I won't be too long, but 2 weekends ago we took my nephew down to Orlando, and this was his Christmas present. And we went to Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios.
That's so much fun.
Yeah. So my husband Jim came down with my sister and my brother-in-law, and then my nephew is 9. And so he was big enough to go on, the upside down roller coasters. So I went on the Velocicoaster with him, and, the kid hit every ride in the park. So it was nice because being 4 adults and 1 child, we could all tag out of at least 1 or 2 rides.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Poor Jim, we did the Velocicoaster, and then we did the Harry Potter ride, the one where you're supposedly in the Quidditch match.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some hardcore virtual reality. And so Jim got off that ride and he's like, I'm tagging out. He didn't do the Hulk with us because he was like, I can't do an upside down ride again. He's like, I just can't. So, but then, we were alternating. So we did that, which was nice. And then my sister and I last Sunday hit the Mandara Spa at the Dolphin.
Nice.
And
that sounds heavenly.
Megan proclaimed that she had probably the best deep tissue massage in her entire life.
That's awesome.
I did as well. I had a woman who was from Jamaica, and she's a very, very lovely lady. And the only thing was so I had a deep tissue too. Yeah. And usually, when you get a deep tissue, they work your muscles first. They get you warmed up before they start going at it. Oh no, man. She was an elbow right down my back, right out of the gate. And I was like seriously, my ass cheeks went together. And I was like, oh, we're in for a ride, kids. This is gonna be a massage. So afterward we get out, and my sister's she's sitting there. I swear, I wanted to give my sister a cigarette because she looked like she just needed one, just how relaxed she was. And I was like, I need a drink. But it was an awesome massage. It was just I probably have never had one where somebody just went right in on it. So
there was no build up.
There was no build up whatsoever. And then much like you, we did a lovely Father's Day yesterday. My crazy sister, she came back because they stay in Orlando for the whole week.
Oh wow!
And they're kind of Orlando'd out right now.
They need a vacation.
They need a vacation from yes. And so she hosted all of us. We did a nice potluck barbecue, and I had to share this with you. Because
I saw that over there. I'm like, what is this?
So it's a card. When it comes to dads, you totally rule. So this is a card that my nephew gave Jim, and it's really cool. So hopefully this will pick up. All right, ready?
Is it Star Wars?
Most impressive.
Isn't that cool? Oh, it's still talking. I don't know why. Jim and I, between last night and today, this has been sitting out on the kitchen table. And anytime like either of us would say something, I was like, wait. And I'd open up the card, impressive, most impressive, in like the Darth Vader voice. So yeah, so leave it to my nephew. But my nephew's cute because Jim and I are going on vacation. And, we this coming weekend. And so we shared a bunch of pictures from Orlando, from Disney and Universal. And so William yesterday, my nephew, gave me his address so that way I can send him pictures over vacation. He's like, I want you to send me pictures because he was taking pictures. He's like, send this one to Aunt Laura. So the funniest one, and I'll stop after this, but the funniest one was they were at Disney, and like the who's the guy from the Avengers, the bad guy, and he wants all the jewels in his...
Oh, Thanos.
Thanos, thank you. Mm-hmm. So there was a Thanos hand, right? And he had the hand on, and he like was holding it as if like it was sticking up the middle finger. And so he's like, send this one to Aunt Laura. And so my sister sent it to me. I was like, oh, that was so on brand. Like, right. So he got... And so I said to him yesterday, I was like, dude, I got the hands, in the glove picture. And he's like, that was a good one to send you, right? I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, at 9, they know,
right.
So
he's so adorable.
Yeah. So, but no, it sounds like you guys had like an awesome time, though. I know you were sending a couple pictures, couple outhouse pictures as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went on a hike. So
this is funny.
It's kind of cool. This lake that we are on was traditionally an ice house lakes. There were 2 huge ice in the like early 1900s before refrigeration.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They had these huge 2 large buildings that were ice house storage for New York City and Philadelphia over the summers.
Wow.
So they would harvest, and they have these really cool tiles that they made that were hollow, that were like insulating tiles that would be, and they have some left in the ruins. The buildings were unsightly, so they took them down.
Okay.
But the foundations are still there. And there's like, different outbuildings, but there's a little campsite area where some of the folks on the property can go and camp. And my dad's like, oh, well, there's an outhouse. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I'm going to go use it. I'm like, Dad, like you can literally urinate anywhere in the woods. Like, why are you
like your dude?
He's just like, I just want to go check it out. And so he goes over to go pee and doesn't bother to shut the door. I'm like, Dad.
And she took a picture of it.
I did. I'm like, you're going to leave the door open, dude. It's fair game. It's fair game.
Always saw where the bottom of his jeans. Couldn't see anything.
You can't see anything.
So.
No, all you see is him standing there with his back.
Yes, but I did get quite the chuckle out of that. I was like, wow,
Yeah, but it's a cool site. It's just a cool little hike. It was very pretty.
That's awesome.
Except for the ticks in PA this year.
Oh, they're terrible, aren't they?
Are big. Like they almost look like little spiders.
Yeah.
They are so big this season, and I picked 4 off of me. Maggie was with us. You picked 3 off of you, 2 off of her.
Yeah.
It was just like,
so we picked the other night 6 ticks off of Kona, our dog.
Embedded, or were they just hanging out?
There were a couple that were a little embedded, but Jim got them out. But it sucks being old or older.
Oh, I can't see shit.
When they're little tiny ticks, you cannot see them. So Jim had to go get his fly fishing glasses. The ones that make him look like Mr. Magoo, and his eyeballs are like this big.
You know what? Nobody knows what the hell Mr. Magoo is.
And he's holding the dog. Oh, I'm holding the dog, and he's like looking at it like and I'm like, oh my God. Like the 2 of us were quite the pair, the other night. So yeah, so the ticks are real. So public service announcement, if you're going in high grass, in the woods, anything, make sure you check yourself. Check in between your toes, in your private parts, under your
wear
bra.
light clothing and tuck your socks over your pants.
Yeah.
It's for real this year.
Yeah. I think that all the rain that we had made everything grow.
It really did.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Tunnel Light.
Washington State.
I loved going to Seattle. We landed in Seattle. And we did this race in September of
2019.
2019.
This is the beginning of our 2019 season, and we had a very healthy fall that fall.
We had a lot of races we did that fall. Because I was looking through pictures, and I was like, oh, dang, we did that. Oh, and we did that one and that one. And that. I was like, oh, dang. You know,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
a lot.
we
It was
were
a lot of,
busy.
yeah, we were on a roll and then COVID hit. We were
Yeah.
like, oh, crap. Yeah, no, we did hit it pretty good. Yeah. So we flew into Seattle for this one.
We flew into Seattle. I think we got in pretty early on
did.
Friday morning because I can recall us kind of checking into the hotel, which was fabulous.
Yeah.
Laura booked us a real winner on this one.
We stayed at the Seattle Marriott waterfront. So
Yes.
our room actually was
Waterfront?
it was waterfront view, and it was a suite. So we had
Yeah.
we had a monster size room.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was
Yeah.
very nice.
I might have
the
used
view
some
was
points on that,
beautiful.
baby.
Yeah. No, thank you for that because
Yes.
it was gorgeous.
Yes.
I remember us checking in, and then I feel like we walked over kind of towards Pike's Place.
Yes.
And there was a brewery over there.
It was like in a
Old Stove Brewing.
yes.
Yeah.
That was a good place because you did a flight there.
I did, and
Yeah.
it was very tasty. Very tasty. Thumbs up. It's still open too.
Yeah,
I love to hear that.
yeah, we love to hear that, especially places we went to before COVID.
Yeah, and I actually have a vivid memory, speaking of crazy, and I can't remember what level of marathon maniac we were at the time going into this season, but I remember us sitting there over lunch and thinking and looking up the statuses on Marathon Maniacs and counting how many marathons we had in that fall and thinking, well, if we only sign up within, blah, 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 if we add another da-da-da, we'll go up. I can vividly remember a crazy conversation about upping the ante.
I totally remember that conversation. And folks, just as an FYI, in the Marathon Maniacs Club, when you do crazier things or you do more races in a compact period of time or in multiple places, there's status levels, right? I think there's eight or nine levels.
I think it may have been like that we were going to get like 9 different states, 9 marathons, 365 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. But when you get to another status, like another level up,
Yeah.
all it is, it's on the website. You don't get you don't get a t-shirt, you don't get any kind of swag, you don't get even like a recognition like, hey, Lorri and Laura hit the iridium level, or there's some crazy ass levels. All it is just you're on the website, your name is at that level. So just to ground you, we did not get anything special.
Yeah, but it felt special.
Yes.
And it felt like something I had to achieve
because we weren't
at
at that bottom level anymore.
Yeah.
So but this was a nice race. It was a smaller race.
Yeah, I think it's still below 1,000, although I think they have more people in it now than they did back in 2019. I think we had like 500 and something with us.
Yeah.
And then I think there was almost 800 and something.
Yeah,
that
I was
finished it
I was
this last
surprised
year.
to see how many more people are running that. But the reason probably why more people know about that race is that it is on a rails to trail, and it actually goes through. I mean, this is the whole novelty of this race. It's in that's not Snoqualmie. It's in North Bend. We started in North Bend.
No, you get dropped at Snoqualmie Pass.
Okay.
And,
yes.
Like we actually dropped a car down in North Bend because it ends just outside.
That's right.
I guess that's
at the end of the trail,
east of West Bend. Yeah. On that side of the trail. And so we got dropped at took a bus.
Because we took a bus
up to Snoqualmie Pass, got dropped, and then ran back down towards North Bend.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this is probably within the first 2 miles of the race, you actually enter into a railroad track tunnel, and it is a 2-mile long tunnel.
It is for real.
And so you have to
You are blind.
You are blind, and you have to wear headgear, like a light,
a headlamp. Yeah.
And when I tell you that you get into the tunnel and you see this little teeny tiny pinhole.
Little light.
Little tiny light. You're like, oh shit, dude, that's fucking 2 miles down the way.
Yeah, it's far. And it's kind of disorienting when you start to run because you kind of feel like, am I going to trip? Where are my feet? I can't see where I'm running.
But the packing inside the ground was nicely packed.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Little like I almost feel like a little cinder.
Yeah.
You know, kind of packing, and
it didn't feel dangerous.
No, and it wasn't I don't recall there being like an overly like dingy, musky kind of smell in the tunnel either.
Well, it's because we're used to being in Philly, where any tunnel like that would smell like piss.
It would usually smell like piss. Yeah,
it just smelled gross.
Yeah. No, it like nothing out of the ordinary. But I mean, there were people that were running around us, but there were times when we were kind of like, you know, we didn't have anybody else's light around us.
Yeah.
And so, but you could see the runners in front of us with their lights,
and they're
moving.
reflective, because no matter what, there's always a little bit of reflective gear on runners' clothing.
Yes.
So you could see like a little movement.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the whole novelty. So tunnel light, marathon. But the reason why this has probably increased in the number of people interested in it is that it is completely downhill.
Yeah.
The entire race.
I think it's one of the top 5, maybe fastest.
BQ qualifiers.
It's one of the fastest courses in the country.
Yeah.
And what's nice is so they put this race on 3 different times a year. Mm-hmm. It's the same course. Yeah. It's the same course from 2019 as it is right now. And it's just
a straight trail. That's it. Yeah. It's a straight trail.
It's a nice, I mean, that's beautiful. So great on your joints. And it would have been we probably would have felt amazing at the end of it.
If it wasn't raining.
The whole time.
The entire race. Now, I have to admit, for all of the races that we have run, we have really lucked out that we have had very, very few, and I'm going to knock on wood.
Yes.
Knocking on wood, because we haven't had too many races where we have experienced just torrential rain the entire race. We've had some where it's been spitting a little on and off, but not like tunnel light and Snoqualmie. It was pouring the entire time.
Yeah, and it was really funny because it kind of started while we were waiting to start. I can remember us finding a little bit of cover. Yeah, we're like, and then as we got started, I remember as it started pooling on the trail, we were like, I
don't want to get in the puddle. Yeah, I'm gonna get my feet wet.
Yeah, and then I can remember by mile 20, we're splashing in the puddle. I'm not avoiding this anymore. It's just It was just there was no point. You were soaking wet.
Absolutely soaking wet.
And it was that was such a good effort to try and avoid that.
Yeah, and the only other disappointing thing, other than the constant rain, was I feel like there were a couple of points along the trail where there could have been some really beautiful scenery, but because the cloud cover was so low,
you couldn't see mountains.
Yeah, the canopy was so low, you could not see any of the mountains.
I'm pretty sure there were mountains there that we missed.
Yeah, I think we missed out on some cool scenery. Now, scenery-wise. This is really this is Snoqualmie, for those of you who don't know. It is east of Seattle, and maybe about 55 minutes east of Seattle. So start getting into that really kind of northwest forest where they have thick pine trees and ferns and moss and
water features
and oh wow, we sound like we're going to be a nature channel, in water features and deer and
there were so many insects you could hear, and the birds were just lovely.
Oh, it's just lovely. Yes, and it felt like we were in an episode of Twilight.
Yes, or a fairy wonderland. I expected to see a little fairy twinkle by.
And every time, and I guess that was the one advantage of it. Yeah, Smurfs, right? But I think that was the one advantage of it raining, is that there were so many water features that were super active because, it was pouring.
Yeah.
And so we got to go and see a ton of
And the
waterfalls.
green really popped because everything was so gray that day. It was just, the green was very vivid, which was very beautiful.
Yeah. So we came prepared though.
Yes.
We brought we don't call them rain jackets.
No.
What do we call them?
We call them vodka jackets.
Why do we call them vodka jackets?
Because I'm very anal about juju. And I think if you lead up to a race, and even if a forecast shows rain, we don't discuss rain. Rain does not exist.
Yeah, Lori tries to manifest it out of the forecast.
And sometimes it has worked.
Sometimes it has worked.
It has worked. We just don't talk about it.
It happened at Broad Street. You manifested that during Broad Street.
Or either that or you did because it was your birthday.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We manifested that.
Yes. But we did wear our vodka jackets for this race. And sometimes when, it's showing that it's going to potentially have precipitation, we'll bring the jackets. But then a lot of times we'll like tie them around our waist. No, this was wearing the jacket the entire time.
Yes.
And at the end, it really didn't matter that we had on our vodka jackets because they were absolutely drenched.
Yes.
Like to the core.
Yeah. Well, our fingers were wrinkled. Our feet were pruny. Like it was a long time out in the rain.
Now, there's a positive about running downhill, right? So, and what was the grade? Maybe like, was it a 3% grade?
I know over the course of over the 26.2 miles, you lose 2,000 feet.
Which is a lot.
Now, I can tell you most rail trails operate at about a 3% grade, so I would assume it's somewhere in there. Yeah. But yeah, it's 2,000 feet. That's quite a bit.
And 3% grade, it's like, but man, when you're doing 26 miles of that and it's constantly, you're constantly descending. I recall at mile 15, we stopped and there was actually a female police officer who was standing by this fence, and we both stopped to go and stretch out. And I just recall like grabbing my foot to kind of stretch out my quads. And I was like, holy hell. Like, you know that when your legs, your body starts hurting you on the run, which is very seldom.
Right.
But when you start hurting and you're feeling tight on the run, it's going to be like a world of hurt after the race. Like you just know that.
It's going to be
and it's the pounding, right, of going downhill and
not changing the movement. You're not using any different muscle groups to engage going uphill
or to make turns or anything. You're just kind of pounding it out. Yeah. That's what she said. You're just pounding it out. Going downhill. But again, that's what makes this a favorite for people who are trying to qualify for Boston.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. It'd be so. I just wish we had nice weather. I was looking at some of the pictures of other races, and it's like sunny and so pretty, and I'm like, oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah, so it would have been really nice.
I can remember one really pretty like bridge that went over like a little bit of a deep little
like a gully.
With a waterfall.
And I feel like there was over to the right of the bridge, kind of because there was a highway, right? And the highway was like way far down from where we were because we were up at a high elevation. But I think that to the right of that, then that's where some of the mountains were that we like did not see. And it was it was just completely cloud covered. Yeah. So little wah in that regard. But I feel like we both made the best of that race.
For sure.
I think we were a little worried that our music was going to die because the JBL, we really put that under a test for the water.
Yeah, and it worked beautifully. But it was on my belt that was under my jacket.
Under the jacket.
But I mean, it was still got decently wet.
Yeah.
But still performed amazingly.
Yeah. Now,
thank you, JBL.
Yes, thank you, JBL.
The clip speaker is a winner.
Yes, it is. And the weather.
Not sponsored.
It was, no, we're not sponsored for that. But it was chilly. It was chilly when we started the race.
Yeah.
So it was, about 45?
45.
And what did it go up to?
Maybe 60.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, if we were lucky.
But
we were so freaking just drenched
and
that
cold.
It just didn't matter that it was 60. Now, the most awesome thing that I loved about this was the little setup that they had at the end of the race.
Yes, it was nice.
Very, very back of the pack friendly.
Very much
They
so.
still had, some music going, and they had a couple of pop-up tents that were set up. And again, this was a smaller race. But people were like, I don't know if it was restaurants or, it was volunteers cooking, but they had soup for us. Do you remember that? Oh, that
and it
soup
tasted
was
amazing.
Just, yeah.
It hit the spot because it was just something warm.
I think we went back. We asked if we can get seconds because we're like, there's only like, X number of people behind us still, can we have another thing?
There was like 6.
Yes.
Like 6 people behind us.
Yeah. That was, but again, it's a fast course and knowing that we're not like uber fast.
Yeah. And we stop and take pictures.
We did.
And we stop for our mile 20 beverage.
We did. No, it was good stuff. But
actually, it may have been more like a mile 21 beverage because I feel like we were near Cedar Falls where we placed it because it was kind of hard with the rail trail to find access points.
Absolutely. And I want to know. Yes, I think that was that the race where there was a girl that we were passing that she was like really struggling too with her IT ban or something because you saw her and you were like, oh my gosh, that's an IT ban. And because I know like we always carry extra Advil with us, and I believe you gave her some, and like she was kind of struggling.
Yeah, I think so.
And I felt kind of bad
because you and
I were both like la 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 la, and this girl's like really struggling, and we're like, oh shit, like it is what it is. So, but it was always nice to go and help a fellow runner.
Do you remember when we were done with the race and we were getting ready to leave? That there was I can't remember if it was a dude or a chick that had like a car because we were kind of parked in gravel.
They got stuck.
Do you remember? Like he ran up over a big pile of gravel and like literally 2 of the wheels were not on the ground.
I remember that.
It totally bottomed down.
I remember that.
And I was like, oh, dude, that sucks.
And there people came over to help out, but
but if you remember, like we watched him because he was like. And he was like trying, like
it hit the underbelly.
He forced the car on there. We were like, dude,
oh my God,
why wouldn't you have backed up?
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
holy shit. Yeah, we have no idea whether or not that person got out or not, but there were other people that came over to help. So yeah, a bunch of other dudes.
Yeah,
they were probably like dumbass.
Well, I was like dumbass.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, because he was stuck pretty good.
He was stuck very good. I mean, wheels off the ground. There was no recovering. He's gonna have to be yanked off of that.
Dude, you excelled at that.
Yeah.
So. Now, you mentioned earlier that we came into Seattle earlier.
Yeah.
And so Seattle is the closest major airport, to come in. And we stayed in downtown. But we did rent a car.
Yes.
Because, we knew that, we wanted to do some sightseeing.
And we were coming off of Tulsa from the previous fall, and we're like, we have to rent a car every time we do this now, just to have the flexibility to go and do what we want.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the first day going to Pike's Place, the public market house, and so this is that iconic marketplace where the folks throw fish in the fish market, and we actually got to go and see that.
Yes.
And that was kind of wild.
That was really cool.
We did not see anybody drop a fish because I think that, or get hit with one, but I think that would be really nasty.
Agreed. Very gross. But they have like their seafood selection at this market is just so cool, seeing all the fish and the oysters and just everything, octopus, like everything laid out. It's such a unique spot in the country.
It really is absolutely unique. And the other cool thing is right across from the market is where the original Starbucks is located, and it is still open.
It comes with a very long line.
Very long line.
But it's worth it. I think we went in there. Did we buy a mug? I remember going in. I don't know if I got something or not.
Yeah, so our friend Mary Beth collects mugs. So I think we went in and bought a mug for Mary Beth.
Yeah. That feels right.
And then you went, and was it that day that you went to that place that had like the pastries, the sweeter savory? Was that the following day?
Yeah, so we came in on Friday. That was Saturday.
Oh, that was Saturday.
I went to what was the name of that place?
Peroski's? Peroshki.
Yes, it was delicious.
It's like pastries.
But they did not have anything gluten-free for you.
Oh, no, they did not. In fact, I remember going up to the counter and asking the lady, because I didn't see anything on the menu.
Yeah.
Like, you were like, we'll go in and we'll see, I'm like, that's cool. So I go in, and the lady just like like laughed at me. It's
No.
like, no, we do not have anything gluten-free. Get the hell out of my place,
Yeah.
So
No, I think we went, where did we go to? No, so we had lunch at the brewery. We walked around Pike's Place, did Starbucks. I think we went over to the Space Needle.
Yes.
Then next.
yeah, the Space Needle. So
We
we decided we're going to go all the way up to the top, which it's just highly recommended. And it's, what did you have here? 605 feet high. So you can really
Just
see
a little high.
You can see just so much from the Space Needle. But they have an area where they have a bar upstairs, which was great.
Yeah.
But then they have a glass floor.
Which was great.
Oh my God, my hands are just starting to sweat thinking about it. So I at the time, and I'm still not a huge fan of heights, like where you feel like you could fall.
Yeah, like a glass floor.
Like a glass floor at 605 feet in the air. And I remember, like, you just walked right out on that thing, and I was very...
We coaxed you out on that thing.
Yes, I was very, cautious of...
I was like, come on, we have to get a picture of our feet with the ground.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, shit. And that glass was pretty clean because it wasn't like, in New York City where it's kind of like a frosted glass and you can kind of see stuff. No, this was, oh, yeah, I can see very, very clearly down to the ground right now.
Yeah. But at least they had nice pours at their bar, though.
They did.
I can remember being like, oh, this has put me in a very happy, warm mood.
Yeah. And wasn't there an area where we could sit outside and have the beverage up at the top there?
I feel like, yes, that is straight. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think we also got the ticket that involved the Chihuly Garden.
Yes.
And
yes, that was really cool.
Yeah, so that is a art exhibit from this guy, Dale. I'm slaughtering his last name. Chihuly. He's a glass blower, and he does all this this beautiful glass blowing artwork, and some of it's outside in gardens with like the flowers and everything, and it's all just very pretty and complimentary.
I bought. Did you buy an ornament there?
I feel like I did buy. I
bought an ornament that it's way too big. Like when I put it on my tree, it has to go in a special spot, and I have it like
branch.
I have it like with 2 or 3 different hooks because this thing is heavy. But so I have one of the things that I do when we travel, whether I'm traveling with you, my sister, Jim, whatever, is I will always buy an ornament from where I'm at and a sticker.
Yeah, because
I have a hard case suitcase, a big Bertha, and I put stickers on it from everywhere that I go, and it's filled up. I'm putting stickers now on top of stickers. I'm like, yes,
yeah, you are.
It's like, and then I buy an ornament every time I go somewhere. So we have a travel tree. And so now I actually, this past year when I put up our Christmas tree, I could actually take like the filler ornaments, and I didn't put as many filler ornaments on there because now I have enough.
You just got good shit.
Yeah, now I got good shit. So, but this ornament that I bought is it's like a tree that was blown inside of like the glass. So, but the tree is made of glass, and it's got like all these branches out on it and stuff, but it's on the inside of the other glass.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
It's beautiful.
It is absolutely gorgeous. But dude, that thing is fucking heavy. I don't know how the hell I traveled back with that.
I don't know either.
Like very carefully.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
In your carry-on.
Yes.
But we always do carry-on anyway.
We always do carry-on. Yes. When you are doing these weekends races, you always do carry-on because
no check bags.
If you check your bag and you lose your sneakers, your running stuff, your gear, you are fucked.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go back home.
Yep.
So yeah.
Always no check bags.
No check bags at all. So I did like that we did that extra garden. I wonder if it's still there.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, I checked out the website today just to double check, make sure all our information is fresh.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And then we walked along the pier.
The pier.
And got to, just kind of people watch and check things out.
I think we were on a quest, though. You had this strange obsession.
I did.
There is a thing Ugh, it just makes me want to gag a little bit. In Seattle, called the Gum, Gum Wall.
Yes.
And it's more like a disgusting gum alley. Maggie would die because of the smells.
It was absolutely
rancid.
Disgusting.
Literally,
like rancid smell.
Every square inch of the walls. They had some of the gum dripping from like windowsills. And it was all used chew gum that people stuck to this. And it's like
a lot of DNA on there.
And around you. And
it's everywhere.
That is a smell that I don't think I will ever forget.
No, and I had this. I did. Yeah. I don't know why. I saw it like somewhere, and it was like, oh my God, dude, we have to go see the gum wall, and you're like,
we
what?
saw the gum wall.
Yes. Yeah. It was so nasty.
Gross.
That was so nasty.
What I can't remember is, did we see seals when we were on the pier? I think we did. I think we saw some, right? Down there, or
I don't know. I don't. We might have.
I know we saw them in Oregon.
We definitely saw them in Oregon.
That's a different story.
That's totally a different story. But no, we might have when we were down on the pier. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The trips tend to blend together.
They do, sadly, which is why we're doing this now.
Yeah,
trying to untangle it all.
Well, because I'm thinking, because I've been to Seattle a couple of times with family as well. So I'm saying yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
We saw
seals.
It was really cool.
They were so big and they were friendly and they were playing with a ball with their noses.
Not at all. But we did ultimately wind up going out to dinner at Elliot's Oyster House, which is right down there in the harbor.
Such a good dinner. And I was looking back at our pictures. And I took a picture of my dinner. I had a grouper not a grouper, a Chilean sea bass.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Over, I believe it was some mashed parsnips, but then it had like a tomato kind of like relish on the side, but then it had what is it, like a pesto, like drizzled, and like. All of the food together was just, it was so good. That was so good. That dinner was so good.
Did
I mention that dinner was so good?
Yeah, I have no idea what I ate, but I remember it being good.
And the service just was fantastic too.
Yeah. Highly recommend Elliot's Oyster House for sure.
Yeah. Now, before we get into like our next big tour day, I want to just go back because we talked about pickled feet. In the beginning of the episode, and
you're so right.
Yeah, and so the one thing that Lorri mentioned is that because we were so wet, like and damp coming, and no, not just damp, we were soaked. Soaked coming out of the race. That our hands looked like we had been sitting in the bathtub. Like little kids. They get their hands all wrinkled up. Our feet were like that. And I had never seen my feet look like that.
Yeah. I actually don't normally get a blister. I actually have a picture of one of my toes with a blister on it because it was just so wet.
Now, the worst thing that and this is why I wanted to talk about pickled feet, because do you remember when we got to the hotel and we both were like, oh, we need to take our shoes off, before we go into the room. And because Lorri does not wear socks, I would say 99.9% of the time, right? With your running shoes.
I'm not wearing socks right now.
So Lorri took her shoes off, and because they were so wet. Oh, God. Dude, it smelled like we had a kitty litter box, like in the corner.
So bad.
Dude, like, because you've done that to me before, where you've taken off your shoes, or even like your trail shoes.
Oh yeah,
and you've taken them off.
Because I do have some trail shoes. I don't wear socks in.
Oh, they're like, like so bad. And you put them in the back of the Jeep, and I'm just like, dude, I'm eating your feet. I'm like, like in the air. And our room was huge at this Marriott. And you put them.
Smell my feet.
Oh my God! I was like, dude, can we put those like in a bag or something? I think you brought them home with you.
Yeah, because they were so good. I can't get rid of those shoes. They just needed to dry.
Yeah, so bad. I think we, like, by the time we were packing up to go home, like nothing was dry. Like our shoes definitely were not dry.
No.
So, yeah. So
matter of fact, I think when we got back, and we ran that next run. I think they were still a
little damp. Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
So I needed to call out the
my
fact that we
foot
did
funk.
not talk about
My pickled foot funk.
Because we said pickled feet, but it was really like, foot funk should have been more of the appropriate thing. So the other thing that I really enjoyed is the following day. So that was Friday when we got in, and the race was on Sunday.
We packed a shit ton of stuff on. Yeah.
So Saturday, the race was Sunday. So Saturday we wake up, and what did we see? Because again, I said that our room was on the waterfront.
Oh yeah, it was so cool because we had big waterfront windows. We had closed all of our curtains for privacy and to sleep, so that we wouldn't get woken up by the sun. And when you flip back the curtains, a cruise ship had arrived overnight and was literally right outside the window.
But do you remember it was docking? It was docking.
Yes.
We saw it actually dock.
We watched, and it was like, oh my gosh, there's a cruise ship.
Yeah, it was like right. It was like, I was like, oh.
And
like,
normally that. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I know some people are cruise people.
We're not.
I'm not.
No, we both
so
are
like
not.
It usually cruise ships kind of make me cringe a little, but this time I was like, oh, look at this. This is so cool.
Yeah. No, that was good stuff. Now the bib pickup. So because we had a car, we ended up driving, for the bib pickup.
It was at a middle school in North Bend.
Yeah, it was just a little tiny.
It's
little tiny
literally
thing.
a bib pickup.
Yeah.
Not an expo.
No expo whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then we decided to go to Snoqualmie Falls.
Yes.
Which was gorgeous.
It was beautiful. And the cute little Snoqualmie town was really cute too. Mm-hmm. They had like a old rail station and some old rail cars. I remember you talking about how much your dad loved. You were taking pictures of all the trains.
Loves the old trains. He would have loved being in that town. Yeah.
And we kind of wandered around. And we kind of saw this really cool old building. And we're like, is this a restaurant? And it kind of had a sign out front that made it look like it was. So we're like, let's go in. And we kind of go in, and it has like this really beautiful old bar. And we're like, let's probably have, did we have lunch there? I know we got drinks. But I feel like we must have had lunch there.
I don't recall if we did or not.
I think we must have at least had a snack, because I don't know where I ate otherwise, because this was the only place that I saw for during the day.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So anyway, we get up there and we sit at the bar. The bartender, super personable.
Had like white shirts with black vests on.
Like old school Western.
Fancy. Yeah.
And when we looked at our feet when we were sitting there, we're like, oh, like there's an old trough under there. And then
on the ground,
and he's like, well, look closer and you'll see that it's actually a fresh flow. Trough spittoon is what it's called. They actually still had water running through
down
it. It's like an old antique bar. And he's like, yeah, there's only like 4 or 5 of them left in the country that actually still have the
active.
fresh flow.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's so like we got into a whole conversation about, what it was like. Like us as ladies could not have gotten and sat at the bar back in the day. And,
right.
Men sometimes would either use that to spit their tobacco
or pee.
Or to urinate.
Yes. And we were like, oh, wow.
Yeah. What do you have on the menu for today, you said?
Yeah. No, it was neat. And they had like actually in the edge of the bar, they had like these they almost look like eagle talon claws.
It was
that
a
was
cool
coming
bar.
out of it. Yeah, but unfortunately,
it's closed.
It's closed, permanently closed.
Yes, and I don't see anything currently in the building for use. And I was looking back at reviews, and it looks like the latest review is like 3 years ago. So I think it's been closed for a while.
Yeah.
But they also the bartender had an award-winning old fashioned that was delicious.
Yeah, I think you proclaimed that was one of the best old fashions you've ever had.
It was so good.
Yeah.
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 So we went there. I remember us doing our mile 20/21 drop off in like one of I think it's a little state park area.
Yeah, that was kind of funny because it's an active trail.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ferns and what have you in the vicinity. So we were trying to figure out like, okay, we need to put it in a spot that is going to be distinctive enough where we know where it is. We have like some type of like, landmark, but we also didn't want to put it where like, any kind of kids or anything could go and get at it.
Well, you did mark clearly on the lid.
Yes.
I think you put
for marathon runners only, Yeah. So that way nobody would go and take it. But when we did, just going back to the Snoqualmie Falls.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No, it's okay. They have this beautiful hotel that overhangs like at the top of the falls. And this is in some of the opening scenes for the show. Now, we're dating ourselves with this, but Twin Peaks was a popular show for a couple of years. It wasn't on for very, very long.
No.
And that was one of the opening scenes, was kind of like a pull-out view from the Snoqualmie Falls with, with this hotel. Yeah. So we actually went into the hotel. We were just kind of tooling around for a little bit. And I think there was a wedding going on at the time as well. So we were kind of checking that out.
Because that's what we do. We poke around.
We do. We're just like, what's in here?
What's in here? What's this look like?
We're going to go in here until somebody tells us that we need to leave.
Yeah. Well, that looks cool. What's that? Let's go over there. Is the door open?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's not locked.
So just me saying that, because Jim and I do the same exact thing.
Right.
When we went to the Super Bowl this past year in New Orleans, we stayed in the Garden District. And so I had read that there was a really, really cool old hotel, down the street. They had a fabulous like champagne brunch. I'm like, dude, let's go there, right?
Yeah.
So we go in and like they wouldn't let us go in through the front doors, right, to the hotel. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And there were all these like black SUV sedans like everywhere. So Jim and I was like, screw it, let's go on the freaking side door. So we walk in like we freaking own the joint. And this one lady was like, no, I'm sorry, we're not serving, food today. And I was like, okay, well, can we just eat out? And she like repeated like the same verbiage the entire time. She's like, the entire hotel is like reserved. Like, and so we find out like, I don't know, 2-3 hours later that was the hotel that Taylor Swift totally rented. She rented out the entire hotel.
Cause she can.
Good
for her.
But we walked in there like we freaking own the joint. We're like, we're just going to tool, and we had no idea.
Right.
But like this lady probably thought that like we knew, and we were trying to catch, and we were freaking clueless.
Right.
Like, and then later on I was like, oh my God, we were in the hotel that Taylor Swift was in. So, all right. So as I digress.
That's okay. You know what? I'm usually the one that's prone
I know,
to digressing.
like,
so by all means, digress away.
I don't know. Just kind of going into places and owning the joint. So
after we tooled around, got done with Snoqualmie Falls, we went back into Seattle.
Yes.
And went to a really fabulous pizza place.
Yes.
With a great bar.
And so we sat at the bar and had our pizza. It was called Rocco's.
Delicious.
And
highly recommend.
Highly recommend
Great
Rocco's.
pre-race meal.
Yes,
really
and
good.
Absolutely excellent gluten-free pizza as well. So I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And Lorri does a really, really great job when, like, especially like the night before races, of kind of investigating where is the pizza place.
I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time in Bordeaux. Just gonna say that out loud right now.
Oh, that's gonna be a little tough.
It's gonna be tough. I'm looking. I'm trying.
You're good.
I gotta get back into it. But
okay.
I was having a hard time there for a while.
Okay.
Like, oof.
Well, we're gonna
might be tough.
Talking about Bordeaux, talking about rough. We're gonna have a 12-mile run tomorrow morning. Yeah.
We should have done today,
dude. That was such a fail. Like we both woke up at like 4, and so we were meeting up to run 12, and I don't know. We both, like, last night, it was a rookie mistake. We both didn't look at the weather.
Yeah, and you're like, how are you feeling about the weather? And they're just instantly, I'm like, well, there's my opening. We don't have to do this today. She's already questioning whether we should run.
Well, because it was showing like 70% chance, and like every time I hit like the the little like,
there's a lot of green on the
play
map.
my radar, and it was like it just kept coming green and green, and like, but things were like popping up. So I'm like, you know what? And then you were like, Maggie just had a cruddy like run, not that you ran cruddy, but
no,
like
she ran like a rock
like
star.
cruddy, like just getting wet and stuff. So you were like, yeah, let's try it tomorrow. So And then was already dressed, so I laid on the couch and just put a blanket over me, and the dog, came snuggled with me and stuff. And then later on, it didn't rain.
I know. And it was like I texted her at like 9. I'm like, we should have ran.
I know. I was like, I know.
So dumb.
I
Just
know.
be done with it.
Yeah.
Instead, we're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right. So memorable aspects of the race. The cool thing now is that they have a 1 hour early start time for slower people.
So they made it sound like the 6 hours is pretty firm. I did see some people that finish at 6:45 in 2024, but I don't know if that's because they started the 1 hour early. But they did say is that if you start the 1 hour early and finish in less than 5 hours, you're disqualified.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
They don't want you if you're a fastie.
Yeah, if you're a fastie, that's not your jam.
Yeah, it's not yours.
Yeah.
But that's a nice perk, and I'm seeing that more and more, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah.
It just it reduces anxiety level for races that you might be cutting it close, and especially if you get an injury, or for those of us that like to fuck around on a course.
Yeah.
So thank you for the extra 1 hour to fuck around on the course.
That's beautiful.
Now the other most memorable thing that I remember from our experience was after the race, the Marriott has a really cool indoor pool, but it's one of those pools where you can swim underneath the window, and then you could be outside as well, and it's heated. But I have a picture of you because you didn't have any bottoms to wear. So I have a picture of you with the Route 66 maroon shirt on, the zip up, and then your bathing suit bottoms, and then no other bottoms. You're just walking through the hotel, in your bathing suit, la la la.
I'm pretty sure I had a really good buzz on when I was doing that.
Probably did. But I was dying laughing. I'm
pretty sure we had beverages while we were swimming at the pool.
Oh, we totally did.
Yeah, so
because we had more stuff in the room. Yeah, because at that point in time, we were just gonna be walking around,
Mm-hmm.
But what did we do? What did we do after the race? Because it was a Sunday, and it was during football season.
Yeah. So we found Buckley's on Ann Street. I think you thought it was the other one. I think it's the one on Ann Street. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Turns out they have an amazing Eagles fan club in Seattle.
Yes.
Go Birds. And I'm like, oh, I found this bar where the Eagles fan club meets. I'm like, we should go there for the game. And we pop in this place probably too late.
Too late, yeah.
Too late, but we found we were all in our Eagles garb, and so is everybody else in the bar.
And the reason why we say too late is that there are people who go there every Sunday to watch their game.
Oh, it's their fan club.
And and they have their own seats.
Yeah.
In the bar.
Yes.
And we walked in and we were like, oh my God, where are we going to sit?
Because we needed to also eat dinner.
Yes.
But we found some lovely people who I think kind of squished to give us 2 seats that we could eat and watch the game. And I mean, it was wall to wall Eagles fans. I think there was a Giants fan in there, but I don't know why. Because I remember us booing the shit out of somebody, or a Cowboys fan. We were like, boo, you suck.
It's probably a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, probably.
They probably wouldn't do it
because we were playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were in there for that game.
Yeah. And we ended up losing.
Yeah, by 4 points.
Yeah.
Being frustrated. But, those were the dark days.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Those were the dark times.
But when we did score a touchdown, the whole bar was singing the Eagles fight song. I mean, we had a blast.
Yeah, we definitely didn't feel like we were.
We felt like we were in South Philly.
Yeah, we felt like we were in Philly. Yeah, which was absolutely awesome. Now I ended up, because I had to get back sooner. I got an earlier flight than you.
Yeah.
So you dropped me off at the airport, but then you got to go and see a couple of other things on Monday before you took off.
Yeah, I took a red eye, those suck.
Yeah.
They're just such a bitch.
Yeah, and I mean,
I had the time to do it.
And so I would take the earlier flights because I would have to get back for work. And then the red eyes were a little bit bit more reasonable. I would have loved to have taken the red eyes, but I'm like, I got to get back to work. So
yeah, so I spent the day just doing, I don't know, whatever, but I wanted to go see the Woodland Park Zoo because I have a little bit of a zoo background. I worked at the Philly Zoo for a while and at the Duke Primate Center. So I love primates and going to, so Woodland Park is an awesome zoo and I had a great time hanging out with the gorillas and checking everything out. And then I had watched, was it Once Upon a Time that was filmed out in Seattle?
Yes.
And I think it was a spin-off show. I had noticed this troll. They have a big stone statue of a troll under the bridge. I think it's like at the Aurora Street. There's an Aurora Street, and under one of the bridges on Aurora Street, there's a ginormous troll. It's called the Fremont troll. And I'm like, I got to figure out where this is because I think it'd be really cool to see. And I did. It was really, like, I got to stand up on his hand and, like, his face was bigger than my body.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's how big he is. And anyway, I just had fun tooling around.
Yeah.
And then I went to the airport and then I left.
Yeah.
But the Fremont troll is really cool.
Yeah.
Highly recommend that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So highly recommend like just this race and the proximity to Seattle, as well as Snoqualmie.
You know what we forgot to talk about?
What did we forget to talk about?
You do need to be just Seattle's super cool.
Oh,
but there is a slight disclaimer here.
Yes.
There is a lot of interesting things that you may see in Seattle. It's safe. I felt safe walking around.
A large homeless population.
But like when we left Buckley's after the Eagles game, like we were just casually walking back to the hotel and like in a building kind of entryway that kind of dented in from the building. Like we looked over and we saw two people heating up heroin with needles, getting ready to shoot up just like out in public.
Yeah.
Kind of made me question my safety, but they had no interest in us, really. They were doing their thing, but it was weird because I've really never seen drug use kind of that out in the open, especially with needles.
Yeah.
Which I found kind of alarming. And I mean, we're in Philly a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've been to New York City. It's not like I'm ignorant to cities and what goes on there. I just had never seen such blatant drug use personally before.
Yeah, so Seattle definitely has a much higher homeless population with people who they're using some serious drugs, and then Portland is very, very similar in nature as well. So it's a shame.
Yeah.
And this was back in 2019. Now,
prior to COVID.
Prior to COVID, I've been there since COVID, and it was worse when I went after 2020 versus when we were there in 2019.
And that makes me sad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So there are just definitely areas where they kind of stay away from, like the main tourist area. But just right on the periphery, man, like you take one bad turn. And so again, I think there was a good public service announcement for you to go and make to folks that, it's great to go to these places, but it's also very important for you to be vigilant and to, just know your surroundings.
Yeah.
Do some research, on these cities. What's the crime rate? Because there was one race that we did in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
And in Manchester, New Hampshire, that had we had warnings like do not leave, do not walk across the street to the restaurant, take an Uber. Yeah, we're like, dude, it's across the street.
Yeah.
So so you just need to do a little bit of research. Whether you're running and doing a weekend like this or just traveling just in general, good to do research.
Yeah, so. And it's sad that we have to say such things, but I think it's important for us to disclose this.
Yeah.
For everybody's safety.
Well, because it's fun to go and travel, but you also want to be safe.
Exactly.
And you want to come home safe and all right. So would you do this one again?
Yes.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a cooler one. I feel like I have to if we really do want to do this a second time, I feel like I've got to reinvestigate what is out there now.
Yeah.
I'm on fire right now. Like
your
my
face
face
is
bright red.
like freaking flaming.
I am on fire. I am hot flashing. I've had a little Prosecco. I am on fire.
I got you.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Laura.
I'm fanning Lorri. I'm fanning Lorri right now. I got you,
God,
man.
That feels so good. Yeah. Now, however,
the shirts.
So Laura, if you're on YouTube, Laura has chucked her shirt. Her shirt is
I have my Mile 20 t-shirt on.
no longer existent. I am wearing the shirt, and this shirt,
the cookie shirt.
the shirt has never seen a hanger.
It's like Cookie Puss. That's you don't know what Cookie Puss is?
I have no idea what Cookie Puss is, but
Wait. For those of you who lived like in the Northeast, like in the 70s, Carvel Ice Cream had a cake called Cookie Puss. And Cookie Puss, they had a commercial. All right, dude, I'm going to get you a link and we're going to put it on our site. So Cookie Puss, and my brother and my sister, we can all sing this song. So Cookie Puss would be floating in...
Is it a cat?
Cookie Puss would be floating. Cookie Puss would be floating in like this constellation, and the commercial would go, Carvel ice cream, Carvel ice cream. It was terrible. It was the most, and Cookie Puss would go, oh, dudes, it was so bad. All right, sorry. Your shirt reminds me of freaking Cookie Puss.
Okay.
So
Yes.
okay, yes,
Okay,
it's Cookie Puss. I don't know why.
Okay. It's terrible. It's just, I don't know where
They look like potatoes, maybe.
It's the cut of it. Again, this thing has never seen a
like
hanger.
It's a ballet cut with like nipples
It's got
built in.
shoulder nipples on both sides.
It looks like you hung it up in a really, really bad and angry hangers.
And wire. No wire hangers.
Wire hangers,
Yeah,
mommy
no,
dearest.
it's never been hung ever. And the neckline on this thing is odd. I don't
So
know.
Lorri, what did I
Not
do with
great.
my shirt? Did
You
it ever make it
tossed
home?
No.
No, I that thing went into the
I
hotel
can't
room and I
throw
looked
shit
at it
away.
and I threw it out. I didn't even bring it home with me.
Might make a quilt from it. I don't know.
Yeah. Be a really rough feeling quilt, girl, because that's not even a nice fabric.
It's got to be backed with something.
But then the
but I like the metal.
The metals are cool. It's got a little hole in the middle of the metal to kind of represent the entrance to the railroad tunnel.
Yeah.
That we went through, so which was neat.
Yeah, I mean it's a decent. It's not my favorite metal.
No.
But it's nice.
I like it that
I like
it though that
it
it did something to symbolize, the uniqueness of the tunnel on the race.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all in all, I would say I love Seattle. I thought it was really like cool to be able to incorporate Seattle into that. I think if I was to do it again, I would leave Seattle and do Northern Cascades.
Yes, I totally agree. I've been to Seattle now a couple times, and I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I would do it in a different way.
You got my ass in the freaking Space Needle. I'm good.
Yeah, I'd probably do like a backpacking something in conjunction with it.
What?
That's
Backpacking and marathons?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. That's 2020. We'll get there.
We're going to get to that episode. So.
Oh, Maggie's still laughing over the what?
Cookie Puss.
Cookie Puss.
I just snorted. Carvel ice cream.
When she showed me the picture of Cookie Puss, I have a vague recollection of Cookie Puss.
When you see the video, you'll know. You lived it. You were in the 70s.
So bad.
Oh, my gosh. And what are we talking about next week?
Next week, I think we're going to do, I'm going to say Indiana.
Yes.
Because there's two different races. We ran the mill race together, but we also did I did the monumental. You did the half at the monumental.
Yes, because that's when I had my back injury.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, we want to thank you guys for joining us today. Now go make Mile 20 your bitch.
Peace out.